Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. I hope any of that came through, that song, the music. It doesn't play it in OBS, so I'm not sure if it came through okay, if it blew your eardrums out. I tried to turn the volume down, so hopefully that worked out well. And we'll try to do this a little bit more professionally. So before we get too much into MMOs, MMO mechanics, and Lightning is a big critic of some MMO mechanics, and of course he's here with me today.
Yes, indeed, I am here.
Talk about the good and the bad. So I'm here on Elder Scrolls Online. I have a champion level 790 right now. There's higher out there, but I play basically a tank because tanks get groups quick. And, you know, Lightning plays a DPS. My brother plays a healer. And so the three of us together...
I have a little bit of everything.
Yeah, the three of us together can do 4-man dungeons actually really without an issue. Maybe not veteran ones, but we can get along real well without a fourth person. And it's pretty hard for most things in a non-veteran dungeon to even drop me. So, actually, I'm running out of food here. Let me take that real quick. There we go. All right, so let me go ahead and first show a little bit of what we have going on with the customizations. I went and did the... also, if the sound is off or low or something like that, let me know. But I did some customizations on the 315 and also my 350R. The 315, I took advantage of the paint schemes, then changed a chair, changed the steering wheel, and the 350R I upgraded besides the paints to the highest end package. I had credit on my account, and it really only cost me $6 to do both of those, so worked out pretty well. So let me go ahead and just show that to you real quick. Now, of course, these came out really, really nice. And, you know, I switched out the guns that came on the side of the 350R with some extra repeaters I had gotten from referrals. And it's like, I didn't really like the stun weapons that came on it. The 350R is kind of my grocery runner, as I call it. I got it because it's fast, not for racing so much as it's fast and I can buy 1 or 2 items like a weapon or something and kind of stay out of harm's way. Sparks are optional. You know, those are kind of those aren't really sparks. Those are flare. That's what it's cockpit flare. But it looks pretty nice. I'm really happy with the way that the ship came out, and didn't do much with the 315. I didn't do like the coffee makers, though it was tempting. I decided to keep the 315 with the exception of the paint chair and the steering wheel. Everything else is kind of like to be filled in during the course of gameplay. I wanted to have something to do with it. I didn't want to like upgrade everything fully. The 350R to me was the exception because that's kind of the top of the line, and I really wanted to take it to the top of the line. And as I said, I had like $20 in credits on there, which is not enough for really anything significant. So I was like, okay, well, let's just go ahead and do that and be done with it. I don't know if there's any other ships I'm going to upgrade or customize as this process continues to grow, except for maybe the 600 if they get a better layout than it is currently. These sparks, man. I don't know why it's always in the hangar you get these sparks. It's just a long-standing bug. But it doesn't happen in the PU. It
drops the ship and breaks it.
Oh, yeah. So I really... Yeah, 350 should be out weapons with an option to mount them. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to race, I mean, if they factor in weight and stuff like that, then, you know, I think that they should, if they factor in weight, then you want to take the guns off and stuff for racing. So, yeah, it came out really nice. I'm really happy with it, and I'm glad the streaming thing is working out. So, let's get back into the game. All right, so Lightning, talk about some of the things that you like and don't like about MMOs. And this is because Star Citizen is actually an MMO. So there are certain inescapable traps that will occur in the process of, you know, playing MMOs like dailies, maybe you're going to have from factions, things like that. Right now, I've completed every mission in the game, with the exception of a couple 12-man raids, which I don't have a guild yet, so I haven't done them at all. But I literally, other than dailies, as you can see on the right, of 0 of 25 missions, I have done every mission on every map in the game, with the exception of Cold Harbor on this character, because I'm waiting for Lightning to get there, because we're going to do that together. It's kind of one of those instanced areas that, as you complete it, if he hasn't completed it and he's in the area, I won't be able to see him, help him, or interact with him. So I'm waiting.
Which is both good and bad.
Yeah, that kind of got introduced. The first time I saw that was Wrath of the Lich King for World of Warcraft. And basically, I'm kind of a mage tank, so I pull aggro from a distance. And the other good thing about this is that loot is individualized. It's not shared, so you don't have to worry about fighting over loot and things like that. But anyway, if the sound is too loud, also just let me know. Yeah, I'm happy with, I'm happy with the 325. The 325 came out really good. I'm really happy they turned the cargo bay into missiles. That was a smart move. Those size 3 missiles, gosh, I mean, I was tempted to get one. I was tempted to get a motorcycle and and convert it over. But I'm like, I got enough fighters. I got enough fighters. It doesn't serve any more purpose for me. So, but I'm very happy with the 325. I think it's going to be a real powerhouse, and as it should be, I'm just going to attack things at random for good reasons.
I didn't even see him there.
But yeah. Go ahead and like talk about a little bit what you like or what you don't like and relate to Star Citizen.
In Star Citizen or just MMOs in general?
MMOs in general, but how you work, things in Star Citizen as well, if you see it being an issue.
Well, I mean, if I just want to criticize Star Citizen, which I love doing, is it's not fun to play.
Oh no, not yet. All the systems aren't in, but this is stuff that's going to be developed. I mean, I don't know. I have fun bombing around. I'm simpler that way, I guess. I like just flying around and looking at the scenery. Take that, deer. All right. But no, one of the things that for MMOs, of course, you have the idea of classes. Obviously, Star Citizen is not going to follow that. Neither is it going to fall into the trope of levels, though ESO does it really well. Even if they add expansions, you're not going to be, you don't have to get all your equipment again and things like that. So equipment upgrades and things like that, that's going to kind of be the quote-unquote ways that you advance in Star Citizen. It's kind of the way you do it in Elite Dangerous as well. You're going to be equipping from like the lowest class into the highest class, and so over time, your equipment's going to matter a lot. Also, of course, it's more heavily dependent upon skill than even this game. This game's got rudimentary kind of dodging and stuff like that, but let's see here. Of course, one of the things that, as far as MMO mechanics go, as I talked earlier about dailies for faction and grinding, one of the things that ESO does really well is most NPCs are actually voiced. And that's a very interesting thing, is that you can walk up to most random NPCs and they're going to have a conversation with you, a snippet, a sentence, or whatnot. Now, I wonder about the immersion level in Star Citizen when they're going to want to have literally millions and millions of NPCs, if there's going to be a lot, they talk about the wild lions and stuff like that. But, I mean, how much of that can you actually go up and talk to them? That's going to be a heck of a gigantic feat to pull off. And I'm just wondering basically how successful they're going to be at that, or what level or depth we're looking at with that. Also with story missions, we got, there's 2 types of MMOs. This is basically a theme park. You have a theme park style and you have a sandbox style. Theme parks will take you from place to place, location to location. You'll perform tasks and whatnot. You can make 100 characters. You're always going to be doing the exact same tasks again and again and again. So this is why I like to focus on one character, because I do get kind of tired of, while I do enjoy the story, you can only play the story so many times, and you're just kind of like, all right, well, I've seen this before. You just kind of power through the missions. You ignore the text. You ignore the lore. You just get it done. You're just trying to level a character.
ESO is probably one of the better MMOs out there, but my problem with it is always that at the end of the day, it's just another MMO. It falls into all the same MMO traps. Is it better for playing with friends? Yeah, because right now I'm level 42, and Jar's 790, though technically 50 is the maximum level. But the champion levels give you a little bit of small bonuses over time, and the class restrictions are one of the big negatives for me. Is just You know, it's not Skyrim, you know, and that's kind of like what everybody wanted.
Well, it's kind of like
Myself.
these two sides of it. You know, you had the one side that people wanted. For example, they wanted.
I'm playing a Redguard.
Yeah, they wanted Fallout 76 to be like, you know, Skyrim Online, or at least, you know what I'm saying. They wanted it, and in a large degree they succeeded, but without the NPCs they failed. This one has the NPCs, but doesn't really have the mechanics of Skyrim. So it's like if you came up with a hybrid between these two, you know, I think. But no, Star Citizen is definitely a sandbox, so it's very limited what you could expect for story. Now, we do have some NPCs that do give you missions, or you can build reputation with them, and they're going to give you more things along the line. And yeah, Lightning always plays a pretty lady. Anyway, so it's like his thing.
A Redguard lady in this case.
Yeah, exactly. See, they really, this build is, the more damage I take, also the more healing I get, so. Oh, I got chased off. I hate that. I thought I avoided it. Let me check a chat here while I'm fighting a boss. Yeah, they're looking for a level-based MMO. A lot of people are looking for a level-based MMO. You see comments on the forums about that. People trying to understand what the nature of Star Citizen is. Like, yeah, are we gonna get levels? I've actually seen people arguing for that. The same kind of things you see people arguing for to make the game third person.
You know, technically we are gonna get levels if you want to break it down. Weapon tiers will effectively be levels. You know, ship types. You know, an Aurora would be like your level 1 ship, and then a Hornet would be like level 2
yeah,
or
you
level
have your
3.
tiers. You have your ship tiers.
Yeah, but that's technically a form of levels. It's not the traditional form of levels.
No.
But
yeah, but definitely no. Yeah, you're right though. A lot of people, when you say MMO, they're instantly thinking levels, they're thinking all that stuff. And I'm thinking like Grand Theft Auto or 5 or Elite Dangerous. I mean, Elite Dangerous is definitely a sandbox. It's a sandbox that's way too damn big for its own good. You know, it's got great mechanics and things like that. I'm not total agreement with their flight mechanics, but their UI is pretty decent. You feel like you're flying. You feel like you have control of your ship. The wrong word is flying, because there's some artificial limitations that I'm not in agreement with. But you do feel from day one, no matter what you're using to control Elite Dangerous, universal controls. It feels solid. It is what it is. They made it a certain way. The first thing they did is they took one ship. They took, as we like to call it, the Nacho, the smallest one, the Sidewinder, I think. And they spent all their time focusing on that, making sure that the flight came out exactly the way they wanted it to, and then they built outward from there. And in a lot of regards, that's what they needed to do with Star Citizen. Okay, this is kind of
never mind. The stream is behind, so you were in a loading screen. I'm like, did you leave?
Oh no, I'm right. Anyway, no. So the thing is,
so do me a favor, Jarvis.
Yeah.
What is it like? K. Yeah, K for your skills.
Yeah.
If you pull up K, that's what I'm talking about with my dislike for the classes. Your character can only ever have those class abilities. That's what I dislike about this game. It's not a points-based system or anything like that. It's that, okay, well, I'm a Templar. I have spear powers, fire powers, and healing powers.
And yes,
right?
I'm a vampire, so deal with it.
I can only ever have those abilities. I can never change them out. I can't swap them out for something else. I think Guild Wars 2 did a better job with this kind of system.
It was tied to skill of class and weapon.
Problems.
Yeah, there was weapon type. You switched your weapon, your skill sets. But I don't know. Guild Wars 2 had its issues too. But you know, it was.
I think ESO is if I gave Guild Wars 2 like a 6 or a 6.5, I'd give ESO like a 6.5 or a 7. It's only marginally better.
I don't know. I would give it, you know, a 7.5 to 8, because I play World of Warcraft and whatnot, and the thing is that I think this does a better job in a lot of regards. I have more fun than this than, you know. They also don't force you to raid to get good gear, the best gear. You can actually just, you know, there's a lot of things they don't. That's another thing too. MMOs, no matter what MMO it is, forcing you into a direction you don't want to go. Or forcing you to do things you don't want to do in order to get gear. Like you talked a while, like there's a lot of people who propose that, okay, the best gear should only be found in the PvP areas, like the best equipment, the best whatever resources, mining, whatever, you name it. The problem with that kind of attitude is that it really just says, okay, the PvPers always get the best gear, and the only way you can get it is by running in with low-level gear into a PvP zone so you can get your butt handed to you again and again. And I despise that. Now, just because you don't want a PvP doesn't mean you don't want a challenge. It doesn't mean there shouldn't be high-level PvE areas with very difficult AI that would also give, you know, the same kind of awards. I absolutely get tired.
I very much dislike grind.
Oh yeah, grind. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I make a character. I'm like, okay, yeah. And that's another thing. I guess that's also why I bought so many ships in Star Citizen. I hate grind, and I like rolls, but I hate grind. So, you know, in most part, I guess I'll be grinding upgrades, but, you know.
Oops.
Let's check here, see here. Oh, yeah, Coulson was coming out. He talked a bit about the VTOL a bit. And it sounds like they're making adjustments to the way it controls due to trying to work with interactive mode. And I'm just like, golly, this stupid tail is wagging the dog again. And it's just like, you know, it's absolutely so frustrating to keep pointing this out constantly. It's like, okay, what are they going to do when pixel perfect aiming on one controller, on one control mode on that controller, makes it so that they can just annihilate everything on the ground with precision? I mean, how are you going to balance that off? How is anything on the ground going to survive that? So, you know, and it does sound like they're bringing back the limiter a little bit on the thrusters, which is good. But the whole idea that we're back in the same problem. Admittedly, it was his number one point was, you know, so, we need to make adjustments so that people, you know, can use their point to click aiming with flying and doing VTOL. I'm just like, oh, come on, guys, please, please.
Star Wars: The Old Republic had PvP gear, and they did it like decent at first, and then
yeah,
like,
then
they
got stupid about it. They kept raising the tiers, and it was too much of a grind. What is that? Is person in the wall?
They're stuck inside the wall.
Okay, I'm just dropping AOE there. Okay, there's a bug. Woo! Just let him let him be. We're not gonna. Yeah, they're trapped. Okay.
Ow.
You knocked them through the.
Ow.
I like this person already. Yeah. They can make VTL work fine if they nerf thrusters and atmosphere. Well, the thing is that, you know, also thrusters, like, remember when they were talking about how that they wanted to have, basically that they wanted to focus on pitch and roll on some ships and whatnot, and there's still very little difference, and how the bottom thrusters are supposed to be this high endurance, high heat resist kind of thrusters that would, you know, be the ones you'd use primarily, so pitch and roll would always be the kind of flight style that you would want on a majority of the ships. And I don't feel they've held true to that yet. It's just that, I don't know, it's just like this pushback for FPS flight mechanics. And I think we're going to have to keep fighting against that until basically the reason comes in, or they realize that A doesn't blend with B. It's just very frustrating. Yeah, exactly. They look like, oh, great, they're doing the helicopter hovering mode, you know, and it's like exactly what I wanted. It looked like, you know, and then they talk about the space brake coming on to, you know, auto level you out. And as my friend Lex, as I was reading on our Discord, says, looks like they're taking away the ability to do that pilot shit. And he's an F-18 pilot in real life, so he's a military flight. And he's just like, man, why do they keep dumbing this down? We're not looking for full DCS levels, but it's just like, just stop having a button that just says, oh, I can't fly. Let me just press this button, and oh, there we go. You know. Yeah.
That's the wrong button.
Let's see here. Nabia says most ships have 2+G thrusters on all sides, so flight and atmosphere is going to be and stay fully borked by it to keep those forces. Yeah, you're right. I mean, the ships need the strongest one should be the bottoms, and the other ones should provide, but they shouldn't provide to the levels that like that. You know, like the side thrusters. Say they only put out, I don't know, half a G. Just as an example, with the exception of obviously something like the Xeon Scout, which is all MAVs. Which I still feel like not being treated the right way from what I'm reading anyway. I melted mine a long time ago for other things, for other roles. I had too many fighters, so it wasn't anything against the ship per se, just too many fighters. Yeah, people flying with nose down. See, that's the thing, is that, you know, this whole tipping down thing is fine. I'm completely for that. But unless they get the thrusters on the other axes actually aligned where that makes sense. Like if the thruster is like, okay, you got a half a G in the side, and your bottom ones are say like 2G. Okay, you've incentivized pitch and roll, and you've actually gone ahead and kept the ships from doing the nose down thing. It's just brought a lot of things in line. And it said the explanation for it is the bigger engines are on the bottom, the internal systems. It's not like you need to map out every square inch of the fighters and the ships inside to get it all figured out. But, you know, that's just one of those things that once again, they're going to, if they wanted, like they showed that the new, and I probably should have it queued up here, but whatever, you can look it up. The new 300 commercial, right? You see Flight in the new 300 commercial, and you're like, be nice if ours looked anything like that. Because it just doesn't look anything like that. It doesn't have the majesty, or it doesn't have the. You saw that, you know, the ships were drifting. They had this nice subtle to it. It was a little atmospheric, to be honest with you. There wasn't anything spinning like that, but it was the pacing and stuff. It was just like, I was like, okay, that looks good. Can we have that as a starting point? Yeah, part degradation. Yeah, it's like if like that's what I'm talking about. Like the bottom ones are the only ones with any sense of endurance. Then they're the only ones who. That's why you'd want to pitch and roll a lot, because even if the side ones were strong, if they weren't able to do that very often, or if they get weak really quickly. So like, oh, I'm yawing a lot. I got really strong yaw, and then like after doing that for like, you know, a minute or so, like they're overheating and you have to stop. You know, or you just can't yaw anymore. It's not to the extent that you were previously. That's a solution, of course, but I'd rather them just get it in check to begin with. I'm harvesting here while lightning's getting beaten on, because I'm just that kind of. That's another thing too. AI, like most. Okay, you saw that AI revisions got delayed to 3.6. Now I think that was going to happen anyway, because when you don't have the flight model finished, was it not 3.6 or was it 3? Was it 3. Not, I mean, 3.7. It got moved from 3.6. When you
3 point something.
Yeah, but when you're still developing flight, you really can't develop the flight AI. You have to let that settle in first, and then you've got to come in. Then you can come in and program those things. But right now, I kind of saw that as a given. I'm not really surprised by that move. But talking about AI and MMOs, like this game, you know, the AI is pretty rudimentary. I remember there was a comic done for World of Warcraft, and it was kind of apt and straight to the point. They were like, sir, you know, the fortress is being attacked. Says, what should we do? Is execute the ultimate plan. Everyone stands in groups in 2s and 3s and separate from each other in random spots around the dungeon, you know. And so yeah, you kind of see that. There's always, you know, clusters of enemies and whatnot, but they're rudimentary. They come at you. You know, they hit you with their abilities. They have a cycle they go through, and you know, the AI in Star Citizen, they're striving to have it so that they have personalities. They're willing to run. They have different tactics and whatnot. But all that stems from the bottom line of what is flight? What is it going to look like? You can't program AI. You watch them, like when they do the demonstrations with the paper airplanes and things like that, and you're just like, really? I mean, it's kind of funny. But nonetheless, if you're trying to program dynamic patterns and stuff, for, you know, like when you fight them right now, they don't fly backwards and use their main weaponry. Akani will just kind of lazily drift around and fire its turret at you, and you can stay pretty much relatively safe.
Does it lazily drift to the left?
Sometimes, yes.
Because then it knows some maneuvers.
Yeah. They want twitch your flight in space, and they want the atmospheric look in the atmosphere. Exactly. You have to pick a lane. You have to pick a lane. That's the bottom line. There's so much wishy-washiness. I mean, how are you going to make the people on ground, like, you know, rocket jump while you're at it?
Oh yes, wall running,
rocket jumping. How about wall running and rocket? You fire at the rocket at the wall that as you're running on it, and then jump to the other wall from the explosion. You know, I mean, at some point in time, you have to pick a lane, and I still feel like we're in this nonstop battle where they haven't picked a dang lane yet. There's so much pushback from the arcade community, and there was a pretty popular breakdown of the video. Creon did it, and you know, and kudos for the work and whatnot. I'm not going to be smirching. I know what it's like to make a video. I don't know one of that length. It's a bitch. But one of those things is that there's a lot of people were pointing out in there. Yes, this is an interesting breakdown in history of flight, but it doesn't really provide any solutions. You know, we have to go back to the basics. The basics is the universal controls. This is such a simple thing that hasn't been resolved yet. Like Lightning's playing this game. I'm playing this game. We don't have different controls. You know, and this game's
I just
played.
found a strangely preserved box of medical supplies.
And this game is on consoles too. And guess what? It all operates underneath the same control type. You know, it's very straightforward. And I don't know if it's cross-platform play. I mean, it might be. I don't think it is though. But there's no real advantage on this game. Yeah, it's an MMO. It's not a flight game by any measure. But we're all playing the game by the same rules. Like when you play War Thunder and you see people who have the console tag next to them, you just call them free points, because if you've got a mouse and you're playing War Thunder, you know, there's no way someone in a gamepad is going to be able to have that kind of level of accuracy. But they're actually playing more of a flight game than you are at that point in time, because you're just kind of pointing at the screen and the game is autopiloting, following your cursor. So in a lot of regards, it's very similar to the way that you have IM versus joysticks. And, you know, they introduced the automated gimbal system, and it's flawed and not very deep. It could be a lot better, but it has to be paired against what it's being, you know, compared to, which is IM, so it can't be any deeper than what it is right now. Ooh, treasure chest. But it's one of those things that, you know, we're kind of stuck until they make those adjustments at the basic level. Let's
Thief!
see.
Oh, thief!
Oh, I took your stuff. Well, let's check the chat here real quick.
Whoop! Bad lanes.
Well, the control for the UI, the Star System really needs help. Another plan we're doing the UI from the ground up. Yeah, that's a big thing too. I think they said the first big UI change, we're going to be seeing it on the Gladius. It's going to show a lot more information. I don't know if that's going to be the new UI system or if that's going to be just a slight change to the current one, though. Yeah, the UI is terribly bad. It's unintuitive. It's not. It's one of those things, like, I wish they would make reference more to real world things. There's a lot, even other games. It seems to me that there's a lot of things in Star Citizen that they're just kind of like trying to reinvent the wheel, and it's round for a reason. Just make a round wheel. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Arma doesn't have the greatest UI either, but you know.
At least Arma is mostly functional.
Yeah, that's true. Arma's solid. Yeah, it's a fun game to play, and I'm too upset that the alien thing isn't multi. That was gonna buy it day one if it was multiplayer, but no, I'm just kind of like, whatever. Let's see here. It's laggy, impossible to control. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. You're talking about online play. It can be, depending upon where you go.
It's a very resource-intensive game when it really shouldn't be, and a lot of that comes down to just the way that they programmed their game. It's one of its biggest problems.
Yeah. And another thing too, vendor repairs. I wonder if you're gonna be able to. Oh, I thought that was a vendor. No, it's just a story person.
Why are there so many freaking world boss skulls all over this map? There's one on this road.
I don't know. I didn't make it. All right, so inventory. Of course, Star Citizen's going to have a physicalized inventory. And most MMOs, you have this mess.
You have a bag of holding.
Yeah, you have a bag of holding. Right now, we kind of have a bag of holding right now in Star Citizen, but we have kind of the infinite bag of holding. It's like, you want to get 10,000 grenades? Go for it, as long as you have the money. But yeah, a physicalized inventory. You see that more to some degree in Arma. I'd imagine it's going to work something very similar to Arma, or let's say even more rudimentary than that. Let's just say Diablo. You know, Diablo 1, 2, or 3.
Slot based.
Yeah, you fit everything in a certain amount of slots. Everything fits in there. That would be a system that would work pretty well, because you're talking about, you have bags and pouches and things like that you're going to carry. Instead, Arma in a lot of ways is the same way. So it's like, if your bag is, you know, 3x4, then you have to, the only things that can fit in there are the only things that are going to fit in there. It's a game to put a tutorial to. Yeah, well, Star Citizen used to have a tutorial, but it was so out of date they dumped it. I don't think it's wise for them to make a tutorial until they actually get things locked in stone. And in some regards, you could say Squadron 42 is the tutorial, if it comes out solid enough.
It's gonna kind of have to be, because that's the single-player game experience. Oh wow, this guy was over here just tanking this secondary boss this whole time.
Yeah, yep. I always think it's a necromancer. That's a new class that just came out. Yeah, definitely teach how to take off and land or something like that. I think they could do that through Arena Commander. I mean, my stupid wasted a potion. I think they could teach that through Arena Commander. It's a nice, small, controlled environment, you know. I'm gonna let you get that. There, go for it. I was okay. Well, I'm not gonna try to pick a lock when I'm trying to talk because I can't do two things like that at the same time. Brain doesn't work that way.
You've heard it here first.
Exactly. My brain does not work that way. Well, I mean, it does a little, but yeah, it's true. It can't be tutorial selling it separately. That's a valid point. That is a valid point. Some people probably will get Squadron 42, will never get Star Citizen.
The multiplayer is actually what's sold separately, not Squadron 42, I believe.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that someone could buy one and not the other, and then if you have a tutorial in you know,
yeah, that's true.
Star Citizen, then having it in Squadron 42 doesn't mean anything. And that's a valid point. Yeah, Star Citizen. Well, Squadron 42. If it's a Chris Roberts game, you're gonna have your introductory levels. You're gonna like anything else. You're gonna have you're going out, do patrol, you fight, you know, one or two scragglers, and then you go back and you debrief.
You're probably gonna get sassed. Do you remember how to fly this thing?
Exactly.
And they'll do the typical tutorial thing.
Yeah. I have no doubt to do a typical tutorial. Oh, they may even say, "Hey, you should take some time out on the simulator," and then you're gonna go over there, you're getting in the simulator and run some missions. I mean, that's probably a better way to do it than wasting a story mission on it. And Chris Roberts did that in his other Wing Commander games. You would just go ahead and you know, you would just go ahead and sit in the simulator and play it that way. So I could see that being exactly the way he'll do the tutorials. And it'd make the most sense, and it wouldn't break immersion, if that's what he's going for anyway. But yeah, definitely, as far as MMOs are concerned, Star Citizen is not a theme park like this game. It's absolutely a sandbox. So as far as NPC interactions, missions, and such, this is why I'm excited about the dynamic mission system. You can pick up basically the same kind of mission where you go out and you retrieve you retrieve an Xbox, and something weird happens, and you end up in a different direction. Maybe end up going to a different system, finding ruins, whatever. With the underground tunnels now, the branching dynamics. If they make it, obviously they want to put a cap on it. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this mission for 3 days. It just keeps branching. But obviously, at some point in time, like if you get a mission and every time you play it, there's like 20 or 30 different ways it could go. That would really keep the game's potential alive.
If you die in the simulator, you die in real life.
Yeah, 90% chance your first mission you'll start in a ship in a simulator, you overrun, die, and yeah, they'll do the Kobayashi Maru for Squadron 42. Is exactly what's going to happen. Oh, you got killed again, but I guess you passed your flight school, so you're going to go off to war, you know. Yeah, you're a fresh recruit. Yeah, exactly, that'd be good. Actually, yeah. You could have, like, you know, exactly, you could do the whole recruit thing, and yeah, and then flash forward to X amount of years later, but I don't know. There's definitely all sorts of ways to do it. My question is, he's like, why aren't you any better than you were when you left the recruit academy? He's like, you still suck at this.
Defending missions.
Oh yeah, that's another thing too. Defending missions and MMOs. That is a very good topic. Come on. We have a habit. Lightning and I have a habit of staying alive
By the Bee Gees.
By the Bee Gees. When we have to do an escort or defense, mostly an escort mission, but a defense mission, same kind of thing.
They started in Champions Online because they'd walk.
They would walk through the middle of a bullet fight.
I need you to defend me while I go and do this thing.
Yeah.
And they would walk, literally walk, not the MMO jog like this. No. They would walk. And so it's like,
they go like this. They would literally do this as you'd sit there as you're being shot at by like 100 people. You're trying to keep them alive. So we just started playing Staying Alive, whatever that would happen. It's like escort mission. And so it became kind of a tradition for us. And so yeah, escort missions, defense missions, that crap. I tell you what, if I know it's a defense mission or a rescue mission or whatnot, I can almost guarantee you I'm never taking one of those.
To be fair, if they did that in Dysphoria or something, or one of the not Squadron 42, the Wing Commander remake games, where you are in a I think you can play as a bomber, but you're trying to get a bunch of ships through a portal, and it's like stop those bombers, stop the missiles, and it was like
Oh, Wing Commander
mission
Legacy.
2
Wing
or
Commander. It was Wing
3.
Commander Legacy. That was a fan made one. That was like the second or third mission.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like
It
mission
was
2 or 3.
obnoxious.
Like this is impossible.
It was obnoxious, and that's actually the game was like really really fun. And you get to that mission, you're like, oh come on.
It's just like
It's a free
nice.
download, by the way. If you look at Wing Commander Legacy, it's a free mod that someone made off the Free Space engine, I think. And it's same thing like with Diaspora, but that mission is obnoxious. It's just like because you got the torpedoes coming in. I think they're the skips, the kind that warp in and out or fade in and out. And then you've got which is they had those in Wing Commander, I believe, a long time ago, and I think Wing Commander 3 or 4. And then at the same time you've got the ships. It's just you pretty much, and you got to stop all these torpedoes coming in. The ships, it's garbage. I hate hot garbage defense missions. They could die in a fire.
It was a pretty good shit show, is what it was.
Yeah, it was like the game's really great. That mission. No, I'm done. It's like thanks for ruining your own game in like 10 minutes. No.
Yeah, I Star Citizen probably won't have the problem of keeping up with people at least because you just, I mean, unless they're in a stupidly fast ship and you're in something slow, you know, the speed levels aren't going to be too crazy.
Oh yeah, that's the thing too about the sprinting everywhere. Like I have a tendency in Star Citizen to walk, and it drives lightning nuts because I'm walking there. But even in this game, I did like when I was playing with this character, I was literally walking everywhere. Even on my horse, I was just like, do, and it's because I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm weird.
Ah, yes, generic. Give me 25 bear asses.
Yeah, you know, I like it taking the environment.
World International.
That's another thing. Yeah, the ones where you have to kill things for a certain amount of loot and it randomly drops. Or how about another trope too? You get in MMOs where it says find something in X, and it's typically the third or fourth one. Always it's like nope, it doesn't matter where you go. First one, nope. Second one, nope. Third one, got it. You know.
In Perfect World International, there was a daily mission that was auto-generated, and it was always go and just like murder things or whatever, and you got a shit ton of experience and stuff with it. It was really worth it. But after a couple days of doing that mission over and over and over, you're just like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Go kill 20 friggin' lizard people because raisins.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh man.
So yeah, that's definitely a thing. I know they're adding the harvesting system. Obviously, like I'm here, I'm gonna loot this bag and whatnot. I think theirs could be a little bit more complex than that, especially with server-side OCS. When you pick something up, it should be gone for everybody else. This game has a tendency, like Lightning and I here can loot the same bag. We don't fight. We don't fight over
chests
loot.
Are
the chests are the chests and harvest points. Those are not shared. But generally speaking, like he can loot this bag, you know. Well, it's a book, but I can loot the sack. He can loot that sack. There's no conflict there. Star Citizen can't work like that. I don't think that's the way Chris wants it. I think he wants an item to be picked up. He doesn't want us all picking up the same apple, you know. Yeah, go to X harvest generic item 341 exactly. That's another one too. Yeah, well, we kind of have that already. We have the down satellite mission. You know, you go down there, you go to the burning satellite, you pick up the thing and bring it back, and then have the guy cancel on you after you deliver, so you don't get paid. No, that's been
I actually haven't played Conan Exiles. It's one of those games where it's like I was kind of tempted, but it was so much like Ark, and I was so burned out on Ark. It's like I don't think I want another game like that.
Yeah. That is a total sandbox. That is sandboxy in every way that you can imagine, where the players even have to make the civilizations. That's ground level sandbox. Those kind of games, I think, be the kind of like, okay, there's Dual Universe coming out, and one of the subscribers, someone in the Discord, has offered to give me a beta key down the road. If they want to, they don't have to, but to try it out, you know. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing how they incorporate not only, you know, the building mechanics, but in a lot of regards, how their flight is handled, the dynamics that go in there. But also, the whole thing of like, if you have to put a little time into building a ship, like, are people going to act differently? Like when it comes to PvP, they have safe zones too, like safe sectors where you can go and no one can fight you. But I would imagine it'd be very frustrating to build everything up from scratch and then have someone come in and just wipe it all out because you were offline or whatever. I don't know. It's a bit much for me. I have a job. Not currently. I'm on vacation until like the 17th. So woohoo. Oh yeah, another thing too, guys. The reason we haven't done any blast casts is because it's been a drought. I can cover most of the news in like 3 minutes, and there's no point to putting out a show like that. So if there are other topics or things that you have concerns about, you're absolutely positively welcome to voice those in chat. It doesn't matter if it's in videos or in my Discord, and you know, drop in. And there's a show suggestions channel where you can, if there's a topic you'd like us to talk about or think about. And now's the time because, you know, I'm off to like the 17th or the 18th, and for the first vacation I've taken in 5 years. Well, except for the one day I took for CitizenCon to cover make all those videos. I was up for like 36 hours in a row putting those videos together. I was exhausted.
Womp womp.
Yeah, but you know, other than that, you know, this is like the first string I've had, and I told the boss, I'm like, look, I haven't taken a vacation in 5 years. These are the dates. I'm getting it. That's the end of the argument. So, I expect to come back and the place will be burned into a crispy husk. But you know, it is what it is.
Whoa!
There we go. Now let's look at the guy here. These are little random portal thingies here. Some random loot. Alright, people accurately PvP best investment. If anything, they get worse. Yeah, you might be right. They might get more vindictive. If they know that it will cost you more, like they might like want to fly into your, if you build a skyscraper, let's say, into a universe, you might get a bunch of guys flying their Aurora level ships into it just to, you know, to break it in half. It's very possible. Yeah, damage done is more important stat to reward earned to most PvP players. Yeah, I would, you know, I guess it's a mentality. Like, Lightning and I met because we were on a PvP team together.
Yeah.
I mean, we did PvP, like, we did PvP in Star Wars, The Old Republic. We did PvP in Bitten Champions. We did on Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta put that screen at some time where, even as an engineer, I did like 6 times the damage of anybody on either side, and it was just like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be able to do that, but I did it. But I was kind of pig-headed about playing an engineer and making it work. But the thing is that you know, I used to do IL2 for I think 3 to 5 years, like hardcore, the original IL2, and of course FPS games. Did Counter-Strike like through the roof. I did Rainbow Six Vegas on Xbox, hardcore. Did Forza Online Racing. I had like 380 races, and I think 380 races. I think it was 98% of them were in the top 3, and 50% of the top 3 wins were first place. Captain Tyler, he's my brother. He's in the chat. He can verify that. It was ridiculous. I was.
You know, it's funny you're talking about Forza, because one of my many hundreds of tabs I have open is the Forza 7, because I was trying to look up and see how it's been going since they allegedly removed all the loot boxes.
Yeah, it says it might be coming to Steam now since Microsoft's pairing with that. That might be a real option. But yeah, I had a steering wheel, I had pedals, I had everything set up on Forza. I had a whole groups of people that would just wait for me to host a game. We ran a clean race. I lost a race once to second place. The guy's like, well, you could have rammed me into that corner. You could have tapped me into that corner and you would have won. I said, I don't run that way, dude. I said, I would rather lose a race than tap somebody down. That was you know, I said, you ran a clean race. That's good. I'm good with that. And I would you know, it's just the way I like to play. You know, it was like the racing to me was bettering myself. It wasn't trying to beat the other person, even though we were in a competition. And that's the way I view PvP. Even it's just like trying to have a better tactics or strategy. There was a Mech Warrior, which is an old CD-based game. It was a BattleTech game. It was 3-on-3, and it was back with, you know, we had dial-up, I think. Maybe it was early DSL. But it was on BattleNet, I think. But 2 of my teammates had left, and I picked something weird. I picked 1 100-ton mech and 2 mine layers. And it was a weird combination. Everyone else picked, you know, like 3 mechs, you know, like a medium and 2 lights or something like that. And the battle went on. And it was 3-on-1 because they had left. Either my teammates had quit or they had crashed out. You know, the internet wasn't stable back then. For an hour, it was almost an hour and a half maybe, I kept them at bay. Because what I did is that I would, wherever I knew that they were, I would be dragging them up. My mine layers would be laying mines behind them. So I drug them to my base. And then I had mine layers when they're trying to get through my base to get to me. I'd have mine layers going back behind them, laying mines, and then they'd have to retreat to repair damage, and they'd walk through my mines. Now, as they're trying to get back to their base, like taking one step at a time, clearing out their path, I'd have my mine layers come back in and re-minefield everything again. So as they're trying to come in one step at a time, my base's defenses are pounding on them, or they're stepping on mines inadvertently. Except when they weren't doing that, my mine layers were out there just dropping mines in random locations. Anyway, after like an hour, maybe an hour and a half or so, I ran out of repair parts, so they finally took me down. And I got a message from that guy who was like, "Dude, next time we have a match, you're on our side. Seriously." It was great because I was down. They were down to 2 players, and each had 1 mech left, and they were barely mobile. So I just ran out repair at my station, and I couldn't hold them off anymore. But yeah, that was a 3-on-1, and I managed to almost squeak it out. Almost squeak it out.
Back in the days of more competitive and fair gameplay.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing is I like the PvP for, you know, just you know it's golf to me. You know, it's golf. You're just trying to better yourself. Oh my gosh, you could try. Yeah, is that what you need to get that shard?
Yep.
I'm gonna suck rock.
Okay, that's fine. You can do that.
No. Oh crap. Ah, I lived. All right, anyway. But yeah, basically, you're right. I mean, but there was a time when I was doing PvP that I was very hardcore about it. I was very brutal. I was mean. I was rude. I was a lot of that in Star Trek Online. Lightning will definitely attest to that.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one time, Lightning, where I don't know if you were there for that particular fight, but the match started, and the group split off to capture the bases, and one guy went to capture one of the far bases, and 2 of his friends split off. To get after me, and they're like, "Oh, you're going after Jarrus? Good luck with that." And he killed both his friends. And he went, "Told you." And I made a science out of killing people with an engineer, which was like the worst class in Star Trek Online. Yeah, because I was especially good for damage dealers. That's why I was playing as a DPS engineer, which is psychotic. Because
I'm still in combat. I can't. There it goes.
You're not supposed to do that, so I made it work. But yeah, it's one of those things that I'd play that Star Trek Online's like until they basically came out with all this loot box friggin' consoles that wrecked the game. You know, made it.
And the game was kind of broken before that. But
then they took it to 11. You know, as far as broken goes. So, but yeah. So yeah, MMOs. I mean, I know we kind of got on a lot of different subjects. Maybe we've been balancing all over the place. But I guess that's the nature of a stream, right? I mean, just that's a stream of consciousness. And I'm kind of ADHD, I guess, maybe in those regards. But yeah, I mean, like we got world bosses, right? I mean, Star Citizen is going to have world bosses. You're going to have like these events, these one-time things. Maybe they talk about how they're going to have maybe like one and done. Like, you know, they use the reference to the Dread Pirate Roberts. That, you know, only one person can deal with that. And then they have to, Trip needs heals. Oh, don't even start me on that crap. Tyler, oh, that was so frustrating. I go into a healer mode, and this one guy, you had a range of 10 kilometers on heals. And this guy, he used to be a really great science player, and he decided he was going to go, you know, to tactical and an escort because reasons. Some people just got DPS. And he would constantly run 20 kilometers from me and be screaming at me, "I need heals! Me voice, I need heals!" Like, dude, stop running away from the healer. You're not healing me. It's like, you're 20 kilometers away from me. I got 10-kilometer friggin' heal range.
And then start dictating like what powers.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's one of the reasons I stopped PvPing. It was just like, I can't take this anymore. This guy's he lost his mind. It was just that, but yeah, it was one of those things that I was obsessed with it. It made me an asshole, and I'm just gonna say it flat out. I was an asshole when I PvP'd. And I just don't want to go down that road again. I guess that's why I really haven't pushed it like I'd like. Maybe I should, as far as that. But you wouldn't like me when I get into PvP. Nobody likes me when I get into PvP. I mean,
You wouldn't like Jar so many PvPs.
oh, I'll start off. I'll suck at it. I'll get obsessed with. I'll get like I'll get this desire to perfect it, and then I'll be like I'll come home and I'll log into it and I'll sit there until I have to absolutely go to sleep for 2 hours before I have to go to work again. That will be me, and I will make absolutely the most miserable bastard you've ever known. Yeah. Star Trek P Online is now who spent the most money exactly.
Yeah.
Or who's got the loot box ship, or who got the random lucky loot box to get the random lucky item. Gosh,
Or who's
they
console
cannot
stacking,
outlaw
who's
loot boxes soon
cheating.
enough. This is why I don't mind the cosmetics that you pay for directly, like they're doing. And I'm glad the prices weren't too bad. It's like $1 for this paint job and $1.50. Okay, fine. $5 would have been a bit. $5 would have been a bit much. I'm glad they didn't go that route. But I like to know what I'm getting. But loot boxes is all about gambling. Yeah. Tripp started telling us all about what kind of builds the Tyler's putting there. Like, we had to be built a certain way. We had to have this. We had to be built. They had to have this. He'd dictate to us how we had to play our character. Oh, it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. Like, dude, it's like I've been playing this game longer than you. It's like I've been in this game since I had alpha access, and before they even had shield graphics. When they had 12 stages of damage, before they reduced it to like 3 because of net load. And it's just like, it's one of those things like, don't even tell me how to do my build. But yeah, that was very frustrating.
Don't at me, bro.
Don't at me, bro. This is a mess of a stream. But yeah, so yeah, dungeons. I guess because we've got underground tunnels, dungeons are going to be a thing. They could also, there's 2 ways they could approach it. They could instance them, or they could go ahead and group them up. To some level, in some regards, I don't mean, I guess you could just be walking straight in with no loads. I think that's their whole goal anyway. But they could also do that, the whole instance thing as well. I guess it just depends. I don't think Star Citizen is going to instance anything, which could be a real problem.
They kind of already are, though.
Well, I mean, only until they get the server meshing in, only until they get the server meshing in. But, there's going to be the popular areas. We're going to get, and we're already seeing examples of, we're going to get Argitas. I mean, that's just how it goes. And it's the same reason that a blockade won't work. Like here, if you were trying to put a blockade up in Star Citizen as an MMO with server meshing, there's still a cap to how many players that can be shown. You could actually counter the blockade by simply getting enough players near them without engaging them to jam up the server count, and then get a second group to slip in behind them on the shard. So server blockades aren't going to work with meshing unless we get some wild amounts of cap increases. Internet technology, computer technology gets really powerful. Most PvP is going to occur in choke points. You're never going to see it happen out. Well, not never, but you're very rarely going to see it happen out in open space. Even the idea of interdiction is going to be very limited. You're going to want to.
Elite Dangerous PTSD.
Well, it's gonna be harder in Star Citizen because you have to set down a thing that has a field in an area, and space is big. My suggestion, by the way, if you could set the Z-axis, I would go ahead and every time you travel, do that. Go straight up a bit, then go across, or go down a bit, then go across, and do it at funky angles, because this way you can avoid those spheres. That's generally speaking what I'm gonna do. And you're just taking full advantage of like the whole thing of Wrath of Khan. He's experienced captain, but his pattern indicates 2-dimensional thinking. Well, don't be 2-dimensional. Do the things that they're not.
Don't tell me what to do. Yeah. I'll be as many degrees as I want to be.
Come in from the planet, from the pole. Don't come in from the side. That's the way you do it. All right, let's see here. Oh, you can't take the dogs out. I'm surprised my cat hasn't gone nuts yet. He's absolutely just. Yeah, he's being good. I'll give him that. All right, so let's take a look here. Oh yeah, we're gonna have modifications on items now. To a degree, Elite Dangerous is an MMO. You're gonna be able to, they talked about a while ago. You're gonna be able to modify and equip your. Now, I don't think those upgrades should be any more than maybe a 5% performance enhancement. Like you can go anywhere from like 1 to 5. If you have the performance modification enhancements that get too wild, you'll throw the whole game out of balance. It should just be a little bit of an edge. You're just getting a little bit more out of it for effort. And it shouldn't be based on random sliders. That's one of the reasons I stopped playing Elite Dangerous was when Engineers came out. Not only did I have to drive around to grind a bunch of materials, which was obnoxious to no ends, but then I had to take it to some dude that would go ahead and give me a random result that may or may not be better than what I had last time and waste those resources. That's a game breaker to me. That's an absolute game breaker to me. I want there to be a skill involved in any modification that comes along. Same thing with repairs. It's got to be, I hate to say it.
Or just equal reward for equal investment.
Equal reward for, that's fine too. You can buy a better part. Like, you can have a player that's really good at just buy an individual component. Like, they've already shown that you're going to be able to break components out of weapons and whatnot, which is fine. I mean, honestly, I would rather have had the golf swing than the way Elite Dangerous did it. Because at least the golf swing, I can try to tap the button closer to the top. It would have given me some measure of control. So any of that random stuff that comes out for any modifications will be the death knell. I've played so many MMOs that have done this randomized crap. For example, I forget, it was a Korean one, Aeon or something like that. You could upgrade. You could upgrade your gear, and you could take it to this thing. You had to get these crystals. You had to get the maximum amount of crystals, so like it wouldn't break. But eventually, you'd risk breaking your entire weapon. I mean, permanently, to try to get the next stage up. And after a while, you're just like, no. And then or you can buy the perfect crystal that will always upgrade it, and it's only like $9.99 or something like that.
Oh yeah, just give us money and you
give
can
us money and you
upgrade.
can get the next. You can upgrade your weapon until our next expansion comes out. That just kind of did it for me too. Yeah, it was free to play and all that, but there's just no. I've just
there's a limit.
There is absolutely a limit. Star Citizen needs to avoid RNG as far as that stuff goes, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Oh, WoW's doing RNG. Oh, I missed the good old days. I'm glad you're doing.
That explains why all the people I know stopped playing WoW.
As far as classic WoW goes, and I agree with them doing that. I think it's a good idea. My suggestion for that is actually do classic WoW all the way through the end of the Ratchet Lich King. In my opinion, when you kill the Lich King, that's the end of World of Warcraft. That's where I played to. What is left? You killed the Lich King. That's the whole purpose. You played Warcraft 1, you played Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3. World of Warcraft, kill the Lich King, roll the credits. To me, that's everything after the Wrath of the Lich King, to me, has been grasping at straws. Absolutely been grasping at straws. And adding funky mechanics and doing weird things that just completely makes me not interested in playing the game ever again. Let's take a look here. Not really worried about interdiction. Yeah, well, you're right. They're gonna have patrol. You're gonna have things like that out there, and the major travel lanes are a double-edged sword. There'll be patrol, but you can also easier to catch.
I'd prefer not to have any skill-based mini games myself.
Yeah, but I'd still rather have that than RNG.
I'd take anything over RNG. I think RNG is the worst way to do it, because what RNG does is just trying to promote you to play the game more. Spend money, spend time. That's the whole purpose of RNG stuff. It's why they are addictive, right? Like World of Warships, it's really RNG. Oh well, just learn to play better. It's like, no, there's only a certain level of cap before it's just, oh well, that was a really lucky game, And then you have that one game that's really good, and you're like, "Oh man, that was amazing." Let's see if I can get
that's actually done
like
on purpose. There's a ratio they put you win the losses.
Well, of course.
I think it was a paper even at EA. EA is using the same thing for loot boxes and stuff like that. They look at how basically a mixed algorithm, like, oh, if you fail this many times, you'll typically buy a loot box. So, and then they'll try to balance it with your wins to loss versus loot box purchase. It's absolutely insane.
Yep.
They're literally treating you like Vegas. That's why I'm like, no. You're just getting.
Okay.
No spiders like you at all.
Get puked on by spiders.
Playing the tutorial in World of Warcraft? Yeah, maybe. I thought original World of Warcraft. I remember we used to get out there to be gigantic battles out in the Barrens. This was before there was PvP battlegrounds. You would get 100+ players on each side that would meet in that center neutral town, the Barrens, and we would kill each other. It was glorious. There would just be AOE's raining from the sky, just people chain pulling, whatever. You just try to snag one guy from the other side and pull them into your group to get beaten on. It was absolutely brutal chaos. It'd be like Barons fight, and the server would show up, and it would just also the server would go heh heh heh, but it was worth it. And I'm hoping that when the classic comes out, Baron fights become a thing again, because the battlegrounds, I didn't like. Okay, that's another thing too. PvP gear in MMOs. No PvP gear. If you have, meaning like there shouldn't be anything. I know Star Citizen's probably not going to run that way, but this goes back to the long lines of what I was saying about best gear dropping in the PvP zones. It falls along the same lines. No PvP gear. If you've got a system that requires you to have special defenses or special attacks to deal with players, your system is not working right. That's basically where PvP gear came from. WoW. They didn't figure out how to deal with Rogue's massive crit, so they came up with the PvP gear to counter the crit. And then it's basically been, it was a spiral after that. Like, oh, now you have seasons and all the stuff you have to work for.
There's one game that you have different stats. I know that Star Wars Old Republic did it slightly, but there was only one that did it better. And you had different damage against players. So it's like,
that's Guild Wars. That's Guild Wars. Guild Wars had, like, your powers had two sets of stats. You had PvP and you had PvE. Like, yeah, when you're in PvP, it does this. And so they did that for every power to make sure that there wasn't a combination that you'd use in PvE. But then again, we're dealing with powers and clicks and things like that, so that doesn't really apply in this particular case. But in some regards, it does. I'm just saying is that you have to be careful that, if you, like right now, I think like the AI, I think they just give them more hit points because they suck. They're kind of sponges, and that's really all you can do with them but I want to see like the AI and Star Citizen flying backwards. Like one of the things I said a long time ago is that when the PU opens up, that you're going to see large ships basically hammering out full speed, decoupling, turning around, and fighting fighters. And that's exactly what people are doing these days, because it doesn't take, if you just sit down and you run through the scenarios in your head, it's the same kind of thing, looking at the bigger picture, right? And maybe some people aren't really good at it. I'm not always perfect at it, but I can sit back and go, okay, we don't have universal controls. Where's that going to lead? And like 6 years ago, oh, that's going to be a real mess, And, you just have to kind of like look at the ramifications and try to see the dominoes that are coming. Let's see here. Yeah, crowd control powers. You're absolutely right. They do that with crowd control. And that crowd control, you're talking about the EMP, right? I mean, EMP is... Well, I've used it in one of the videos just recently. One of the ones, the extra cast blasts were out there. Lightning was fighting someone. I just came up there with my my hawk and EMP'd the ship, and then we just...
Oh God, my arm was so sore. That battle sucked.
Yeah.
I never want to fight in Star Citizen with those equipment again. Period.
Yeah.
That's what that one experience did to me.
Yeah, that's pacing. That's a lot of pacing and focus. It's better. It's not there yet. It's not there yet. But they are. We just got to keep talking, guys. It's one of those things that we're not the biggest dogs in the fight. Maybe, I don't know. But I think a lot of the backers are silent, or they're not, they don't post. I think a lot of your people are waiting for the game to be a more complete state. I think that, as more pieces come together, they're going to find more and more problems, and we're going to have to keep pointing it out. Start with your controls. That's been the same. I mean, I haven't changed my pitch on that at all. I've learned a lot of things. There's some things I've modified my thoughts on, because MHE, Alien War. I've learned so much from them. That I've just like when I started in the whole conversation dealing with flight, Alien War and I were fighting with each other all the time, for the most part. I need to pull out my vendor here. It's just absolutely just I'm trashed out. But yeah, the Alien War and I, we had disagreement, but I learned so much from him, because he really changed my points of view on things and really helped me refine my arguments. And there's been other people too that that have expressed things and maybe change my points of view. But that's the thing, is you shouldn't be so set in your ways to not change your point of view. And in some ways, I feel like CIG's is kind of set in stone. It's like, okay, we got our controls done. It's a wrap, you know. And that's a real issue. Yes, I have a portable vendor I can pull out of my pocket. That's just how I roll. I also have a portable banker and a portable Thieves Guild person that can sell stolen items too, because that is just how I roll. You quit playing Star Citizen for Elder Scrolls Online? Hey, you know, join the club. No, I kicked it back up with the expansion. The Elsewhere fighting the dragons. It's pretty fun. As I said, I finished every mission in the game so far with this character. Yeah, you're right. Spectrum. Okay, Spectrum is a problem. You're right about the quelling thing. Get rid of her. Get away. Dismiss.
How may I serve?
Get my puppy back. There we go. So yeah, there used to be a lot more discussion. This is what's concerning me a little bit too. When I look on Spectrum, okay, and I see it used to be there'd be nonstop discussion, okay, and sometimes when I'm at night and I'm at work and I check my phone because, you know, I have time, and I see, oh, last post was 15-20 minutes ago. That's in general. I'm like, that's not good. That is really not good. I think a lot of people have been chased out. Like, you can't even go to Reddit, right? You say anything that even remotely sounds like a critique or anything that's against the status quo in Reddit, you know, you're going to get thumbs down or dekarma or whatever the hell it is. I don't usually use Reddit anymore. I tried for a while, but it's just too much of an echo chamber for FPS junkies. And I'm just like, so there's very little venue, honestly, for people who care truly deeply about flight and the flight mechanics to go. I mean, we tried it originally in the old form. What did they do? They threw us all in a Katamari. It ended up being the biggest damn thread in the entire forum. It was bigger than entire sections. And I think people just got burned out on it. They're like, every time we talk about this, we get shoved down. You know, you post something about a thought or idea. What's the first thing is? Is it refuting the idea? No. The first post you're going to get on there is, you just need to play more, or something like that. Like the only experience you have with the other games counts for nothing. Because congratulations, you're great at a really terrible game. You're great at a terrible game. Here's your cookie. Can we have a good game that we could all play together? I mean, I'm sorry. I don't care if you got 50,000 hours in Arena Commander. You got 50,000 hours in a bad game. You know?
Not in just a bad game. Not even the full game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what do I care? You've proved to me that you've got endurance to grit your teeth and play through something terrible till you can try to scrape something enjoyable out of it. You know, that's not, it shouldn't be that way. You know, when you've got 2-something million accounts on Star Citizen, and let's just say it's 1.5 million. Say there's a lot of double accounts. Let's just say it's 1.5 million. Arena Commander should be hopping. It should be. There should be queues like going off left and right. And it's been consistently not so. So they need to find out why that is. They need to get that. They need to get at that. And going back to the trough, each and every time is just going to get you eating slop. They need to just stop going back to that vocal absolute freaking minority, and going, okay, well, we hear you're not happy with the game now. Could you go ahead and we'll change it back.
Tell us how you feel about it.
We'll change it back, we swear, a little incrementally, bit by bit. And you're just like, no, stop it. Stop doing that, please, for the love of Pete. Oh, I actually like this boss. Remember, this is the temporal one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you read the note from the boss, this is a side note real quick. She says, man, I'm stuck in a temporal time loop because this artifact. It goes, every few minutes, a different adventurer comes in and kills me. It's this note over here. Let's see here. So frustrated. I'm asking to recreate the Dragon Break. You just roll back time a few years. It's too much to ask. Book tells us nothing. It's just incoherent. It's here. Final entry. You must have done something terribly wrong. We're caught in a time trap. We keep reliving the same few hours over and over again. Any minute now, someone will come in and kill us to reclaim the book. And then it'll happen all over again. So it's like a self-aware MMO kind of. I love that one. This is like, yeah, I'm gonna respawn and someone's gonna come in and kill me. And anyway, I love it, that one. That's clever. But yeah, I mean, they gotta quit going back to the trough, and it's maddening. We've got people that have been supported this channel that, you know, they're real world pilots. There's some people that work on satellite, have worked on satellite systems. There's, you know, there's sim enthusiasts. we don't want atmospheric flight in space. I get tired of that trope thrown around. I want space to be space, but I also want things to work within human tolerances. I mean, people shouldn't be bragging about it. I mean, Galoith said he broke like, it was Galoith or someone else that he broke like 10 plus sticks playing Arena Commander. If you're breaking sticks playing Arena Commander, the game is you're doing it wrong. I've never broken a stick in my life. Oh, you forgot something?
Nah.
That would be an emphatic yes.
Fuck everything. Run past all the people. Don't give a shit.
I don't have that much stamina, not like you. I would aggro everything here. I am the tank.
That's fine. You can just tank it. It's fine.
Here, I'll heal. Let me switch. Go.
No, that's fine. I'll just hit him with my freaking #1. Knocks him back. Then after the stun ends, it heals me.
I'm also a healer, by the way, besides a tank. Yes, I'm multi-purpose. I'm more of a paladin. Oh yeah, going that way. Because that's how I'm all about I'm all about team support. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. So we quick distraction. Why can I keep lightning not dead? Oh, great. I ran into another mob. That's me.
Nice.
Hey, I'm here to help. You know, every way I possibly can. All right. So yeah, it's just one of those things, guys. That it's almost like, you know. So you're welcome to join our Discord. We have discussions there all the time. There are a couple of devs that hang out in there. Obviously, if you're not part of it, that hang out in there. Mr. Colson hangs out there. Is one of them. You know, I don't know how much he reads, but he definitely, you know, from time to time, I'm sure he reads stuff in there.
Should go without saying to not directly message them.
Yeah, do not directly message them. It's one of those things that you know, they're there. I guess just to kind of watch what people are saying. They're in several different guild people's discords, no doubt. But you know, you're welcome to jump in. Whatever. It's not like this is the biggest channel in the world anyway. It's not like I'm advertising it to the universe. So it's just like, you know, we're only like 3,500 subscribers. Now that I doubt that like 200 people will ever like see this video. But anyway, so yeah, there's some developers there. So it is what it is. Let's see here. Some people are. Well, okay. But that's the thing. You're talking about being way too realistic. Yes, you're right. There's the other side of that coin. Some people do want it to be way too realistic. I totally get that. They want orbital mechanics. I just want it to be
a playable, functioning game. That's all I want.
Sim light. That's what I keep promoting. But you know, they say I want DCS in space. No, sim light. There are certain mechanics like landing things. I don't think they need to be hardcore because it's a hard procedure. And I wouldn't want that for people because most are just, they're going to do a mission, they're going to crash, and they're going to get frustrated and quit the game because they crashed on landing, okay? So...
Oh, like our DCS thing with the carrier landing. Even after 5 attempts, I'm like, I don't care anymore.
One wire.
Just land in the ocean with the respawn button.
Oh, I guess he doesn't. One wire. Anyway, so... no, so yeah, there's a mix between... the two things. There's enough where you can have enough depth to keep your sim enthusiast happy. And there's enough where you can keep your, lack of better words, arcade player happy. There is that fine point between the two. And they just got to be willing to do it. But I always feel like the most important parts that they just you know, they just bypass it with arcade mechanics. And that's the controls, and you just can't do that. Do you remember back in pre-Spectrum when an active group of folks wanted like a 20-minute boot-up sequence? 20-minute boot-up sequence, you want, that would be a bit much for me. I'm happy with being able to adjust systems. I don't think ships should start in 3 seconds. You shouldn't just hit power and fly away. I would like ships to have a more realistic cycle up time. You know, maybe 15, 20 seconds if you want to just do something. Maybe that's asking for a bit much, but I don't know. To me, it's like... press button, ship run is... Oh, stupid bastards. Spiders. Yeah. You know, I don't think people should need to flip every switch. Now, I do think they need to work on where some of their switches are located. I don't know if they fix this, but I remember the Eclipse having the landing gear on the Eclipse was really funny to me because the landing gear knob on that was was labeled as on and off. And even though the label said clearly landing gear up and down. And I was just like, okay, you guys need to work on
Good
aligning.
times.
Yeah, you guys need to. He's just like, we found a lever. We're gonna put a command to it. Doesn't matter what it actually says. But a lot of cockpits and things, if you want to have systems like that, they're consistent in their design approaches. Like in aircraft, right? You'll see your throttle, engines, refueling, stuff like that. Typically, it's going to be on the left.
Oops.
And on the right, you're going to find, a certain amount of things, maybe like, your radio, your internal, your lights, your dash, things like. In the center, you're going to have your HUD. You're going to have your instruments. You're going to have your MFDs. So that, I'm sure there's variations, but a lot of the planes I fly in DCS, I can step into one to another, and it takes a few minutes to refresh. But for the most part, you just get in there and you can look around and realize where most things are and what they do. And there's a lot of...
The thing is, the ships in Star Citizen are more like the car in your driveway.
Yeah, but I mean, I can get in any car too, and for the most part, know how to know where the radio is here. This is here, this is here. I'm not going to have to whip out the instruction manual or try to figure out where the buttons are for the most part. And that's, the basic functions are typically easy to find in any car. They're for the most part pretty universal. I know where the I know where the blinkers are.
Fancy car.
Yeah, I know where the blinkers are. I know how to turn on the windshield wiper. Yeah, there's some times that there's some differences, but for the most part. But a lot of times the Star Citizen ships, the layout, the on-off button, it could be on. Okay, why is the on in the left on this side? It's on the right on this side, or something like that. Just a little more consistency.
Because designers, the biggest problem with Star Citizen is it's made by designers, not engineers.
Yeah, I don't like having interstellar spacecraft and less buttons and the fan on my desk. Yeah, I that's actually pretty funny. I like that. Yeah, and then they showed like, okay, and it's not an NDA yet, they did reveal that Starfighter Inc. It was put on their YouTube channel, so I can say it's now called I think it's called In the Black. That is a game we're going to be covering, and from what I've seen, and I can't go into it, I'm very hopeful. I think that In the Black is going to, and it's been 9 months since a patch, so they're doing revisions. Basically, I think it's gonna when that comes out as non-NDA. I am going to absolutely use that as a template for showing some of the issues in Star Citizen, because what I played of that game really highlighted what could be if they were willing to stick to their guns, basically. Let's see here. Yeah, I understand the idea of rapid boot for mass appeal. I'm not asking. Oops, I'm not put my mic there. I'm not asking them to make you flip every switch. But I'm just saying, engines spool up. Things take time, and if you want to have the quick start, damage your ship kind of thing, fine. But I think your standard startup should be like, the engines start, things start spooling up, and then your shields are building up, things are turning on. And then you can take off. I just don't want them to I mean, think of like some of the epic moments you get in games from trying to start a ship. Like you got Han trying to get the Millennium Falcon up and running, and and obviously the ship wasn't running that well at that point in time. But they're trying to get the ship started, the troops are coming, and everything's ramping up. And in Star Citizen, you just press button, strafe up, and go. So that would be that's a bit. You lose some moments with that. I really think you lose some moments. All right, let's take a couple looks here at the final chats. You got to finish the post before answering. That's what you said, you goof. Finish the post before answering. Yeah. Well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Maybe that's something I said.
Basically, he repeated what he said in very, very long form.
Oh.
You skimmed the question.
I'm
Welcome
sorry.
to live streams.
I'm trying to play at the same time. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's run over way longer than I would have expected it to, guys. Just chat words. But, I just want to thank you all for coming in. I'm going to leave Lightning here to die in this dungeon. I think I know the mission he's on. The one with the twins, right?
I don't know.
Anyway. So, yeah, they don't show up for me. It's
hey, guess what?
Yeah.
She was a Daedra. Woohoo!
She was a Daedra. No surprise there. All right.
We didn't even get to hear me bitching about all my hatred about MMOs.
Well,
You're like, you asked me the question, then just moved right on. Now no one will ever know my hatred of MMOs.
Yes, well, maybe a discussion for another day then. We talked about a bunch of MMO stuff anyway. Not just your pure hatred. It can't all be here hatred, Lightning. The show is not called Citizen Hatred. So, all right, everyone. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off there. And thanks for watching. And went longer than I expected, but it was fun. I like seeing you guys getting involved with the chats. And I hope we can make this a more regular thing. You know, if you have any thoughts about, you can click on the video later or any other videos. Just leave a chat, ask a question, drop it in the Discord. Topics, things you'd like us to make videos on, anything at all, because it is a drought right now.
Game recommendations, things you want us to stream.
Yeah, that'd be kind of good too. You know, things you want us to do for like the playlist where we play games, anything like that at all, because it is a content drought right now at Star Citizen. And I imagine Evocati is launching soon, and we're going to be in that time frame again where I'm going to be playing that and not really focused on anything else in Star Citizen, and also trying to skirt the not breaking an NDA. You know, oh no Hornet report, man. I could probably make a thing out of that. So,
I have not heard of that. Is that an MMO?
This is the mission where you capture pet spiders. No. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let everything end off here, and
you're gonna let me die to the giant spider
oh, crap.
lady.
I'm coming. Okay, we're not gonna end it here.
No, it's fine. I understand.
Coming. Okay, coming to save you from the giant spider lady.
Whoa! Now there's tiny spiders. What the hell?
Okay, I'll pull aggro. There.
Oh.
All right. Well, and that illuminating.
I think this Methyl Pluffa is one of the Daedric princes.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, as I said, that's gonna be about everything in my creepy ass looking character. And
Bwah, bwah, bwah.
So on that note, see, I'm getting all high tech here. We will go ahead and catch you on the next one, and whatever that is. Pretty stars.
Bwah, bwah.